question. Hi Joe, I've been using your techniques to bring in buyers, sellers, and investors, and I can't believe the results. Everything you promised is happening. I got 32 calls yesterday. I got over 200 buyers to call me in the past 3 weeks, and I'm going absolutely bonkers. But all this success has created a huge problem for me. I'm completely overwhelmed, and I can't get back to everyone, let alone do the proper follow-up. I'm leaving thousands of dollars on the table. What do I do? And he signs it, Ken be frustrated in Minneapolis. Well, Ken, you're in a situation that most realtors have never ever seen in their lives. I've never had this many leads before, and this happens to all my new students, whether they're investors or real estate agents. It happens to everybody who starts using these techniques, because leads start coming in all the time, and it's very difficult to follow up with them. So you're going to need a couple of different things. One, you need to automate the process. That's going to be the most important thing and the cheapest thing to do. You can also outsource it. You can bring in another agent. You can bring in a licensed agent to help you work this process. You can bring in other people to help you call these people, and that sometimes works as well. But before you do that, learn the automation process. One of the things that I teach is how to use websites for buyers, sellers, and investors, so that the leads, the people that are coming in, are going to your websites. They're reading about what you do, what you can offer them, and teaching them the whole process and showing them why it makes sense to do that. If you have websites do that for you, it saves you a huge amount of work up front, so that the leads that finally get to you are leads that are actually qualified to be able to do what you want them to do. Once they read the form, it gives them an opportunity to fill out the information, and if they're a buyer lead, it lets you find out about their qualification, what they've got for a down payment, all that information. They put it right on the form, and they click send, and it sends it to you as an email. Now that's how you get the lead, but you want to be able to follow up with this lead. So a quick phone call to them, find out where they're at, find out if they're ready to go right now, and then it puts them into an autoresponder series. An autoresponder is a sequential email piece of software that sends out emails in sequence over a period of time. And those sequence, I've already written them. If you get involved in my program, it educates them about what they need to do. It sells them on the idea of doing it. It builds a relationship with them, between you and them, so that they know who you are. And I can't stress how important this process is. If these people understand who you are, and they trust you, and they see you as an expert, and they're educated about the process, they're going to be a lot easier to work with, and you'll have to spend a whole lot less time with them, because the autoresponder series can actually teach them this whole process and get them excited about it. And when they're ready to buy, they just call you up and say, I want that property, because you're going to be sending out blasts with the properties that you get for lease option. You can also do this with sellers. When you have a seller that you're working with, and you should all be doing this with your listings, an email should be going out to them every week telling them what you did. But it doesn't need to be something that you wrote for them specifically. You can have a series of generic emails that teach them about pricing, because we all know that if they have a property listed with you and it's not selling, it's because of the price. So if you educate them about that process, show them the statistics, show them why properties are selling, why they're not, and do it in a generic way, which I've already done. But if you could do it yourself, this is not rocket science, and that goes out to them once a week, they'll feel a lot more confident in you as an agent, that you're actually doing something for them rather than just disappearing. When I was an agent, I was mainly a listing agent, so we had a ton of listings. And one of the things I found out after not too long into the business is I started dropping listings. I started canceling on me because I never called them back. I believe, and I still believe to this day, that if you get a listing and you price it properly and put it in the MLS, it will service itself. It will sell if it's priced properly. If it's not priced properly, it's not going to sell. So the goal is to try to get it priced properly, and then go out there and do all the marketing that you do to bring in as many buyers as you can. But the likelihood is that it's going to sell through another agent, through a co-op agent. So the goal is to try to get it priced properly. Well, and I knew that it's just going to be a matter of time before they either dropped their price or somebody came along and bought the property. So the problem was I kept losing listings, and I didn't call my listings back, and I kept losing these listings. So I created, and this was before autoresponders, this was before email, I created a series of letters, and every week my assistant would send out a letter to my listings. Every one of my listings would get a letter from me in the mail, and it would say, you know, here's what we're doing on your property this week, here's the things we're doing, the kind of ads we're running, and all that stuff. And it was a generic letter. I sent it out to every single one of them. I didn't change it or modify it for each one of them. The only thing we did was every month we'd send out a CMA, you know, with current comps on it. But we'd also talk about the statistics of pricing, and I went through a whole series of statistics on pricing, which I'll try to do on another video here. But that, when they got that and they knew that I was on top of the thing, what would happen, instead of a month or 2 months down the line, instead of getting a call from them saying, Joe, we want to cancel our listing, you're not doing a thing to get it sold, and we're angry and we don't understand what's going on. They're there making their payments, nobody's showing up, or they're getting 2 or 3 showings, it's not getting sold, they don't realize they just need to lower their price. But now with the letters that I'm sending out, it's educating them about this process. And once they got educated about the process, instead of getting a call, getting a cancellation, what I'd do is get a call saying, hey, Joe, you're right. And I'd forget what they were talking about. I said, well, what do you mean? Well, I'm right. He says, you're right, we need to lower our price. I said, oh, right. Do you want to lower it $5,000 or $10,000? And then we would lower the price. We'd get the property sold. After I implemented this follow-up process, which I had to do nothing except set it up, once I implemented that, I never lost another listing for that reason ever again. And believe me, I had a lot of listings. So you can use the same technique. Good luck with it.